two nations have a very long history. Now that India has been independent for many, many years and moved forward, I think there is a lot of areas where they can cooperate and have been indeed cooperating. The point here is to consolidate the areas they've been cooperating and probably move into newer areas. And these can be both economic, cultural, technological, so a variety of areas. So in fact, the potential of Indo-British ties is so huge that we can certainly try to expand it in every which direction indeed. It's related to the economic relationship. We talk about corporate social responsibility, which is the new way of talking about charity by business groups to less advantaged people, and I think that we need to move these concepts forward. And in both countries, the business sector, corporate groups, often there's a disconnect between them and various segments of the population, and there need to be a proper engagement so that the public becomes also stakeholders in this sort of cooperation between the two countries, and we have a lot to learn from each other. The cultural connection between India and Britain is so deep and so varied, and it has continued. I mean, I must say that it's no longer just limited to the days of the Raj, because London itself is a great sort of place for Indian Bollywood culture, as they say. And of course, India is very, very deeply, British in a very cultural sense of the term, and it's, Indianized British culture. So I think whether it's food habits or music, there's a huge amount of osmosis between the two countries, cultural osmosis. And this will continue. I don't think we really need to do very much about it, because this is happening, and it was there with the older generation, even more so with the younger generation. One of the problems between two countries when they have been so close for so many years is that a certain a dullness creeps in, because it's so predictable. And when you talk of the United Kingdom, immediately you feel this is a very familiar territory. So people don't explore new territories, and I think that there is a need for a new excitement and new vistas to be opened up, which sometimes I find that there is a kind of boredom with Indo-British ties because they are so old and familiar. There is a feeling in India that Britain is something which has been there in the past, and there is not much recognition of modern Britain as such. And in Britain, there is also a certain attitude about India, of the past. Although, as I pointed out earlier, there has been, a cultural sort of osmosis, and it's not that new cultural developments in both in India and Britain are not known to each other. But we tend to get kind of overwhelmed by the past and not look at the present enough, and certainly not to the future. So I think because of the predictability of the Indo-British ties and the long-standing stability of Indo-British ties, we tend to not explore new areas where it can be actually further advanced. The whole cultural exchange, for instance, I think that we need to have more people-to-people contact in terms of more young Britons coming to India and moving across the country and trying to understand the various new social churning that is happening across the country, and indeed Indians to understand what's happening in Britain, because I think in India there's not sufficient understanding of the huge changes that's happening in the United Kingdom, and most people were quite taken aback by the recent Scottish referendum that came as a real surprise to Indians because they hadn't followed the story and most people were quite uninformed. So I think that there is not much awareness of the deep changes that has happened over the years in both countries.